Hi guys, this is going to be an art channel message that's supposed to be sort of like collective, even though I don't really like to say it that way. I guess it just means like anyone is welcome here. That's why I put divine feminine in the title. But anyways, this is gonna be your art channeled message. I channel messages through art, creativity, all that good stuff in between. Personal readings can be found down below on how to book with me or contact me. And lastly, there are no rules here. You can binge watch them, watch if you feel guided to them. It's like no rules, doesn't matter what sign you are, because what's special about my art, my messages, it's like you can look at it and get so many different things. It's like there's the overall message or the overall art, then there's the little details or the subliminals. Like I'll start with one thing and my hand guides me, and then before you know it, it's like a drawing that's an optical illusion with like looks like this, but it also looks like that. Sometimes I even look at my art and I notice things I didn't notice before, and I'm the one that did it. So that's also why I describe it. It's like, what am I trying to say without actually saying it? Sometimes I speak in metaphors, sometimes it's very structured and straightforward, but there's always a reason for it. So just keep your eyes peeled and tap in to your own sort of version of creativity as we go along. Without further ado, what I started drawing for you is one of those big sunflowers that's kind of animated with like a face, but it's sort of sticking out on the side. You'd see those type of flowers in movies like Alice in Wonderland, or it kind of reminds me of Super Mario or Super Mario Sunshine, where those flowers would be dancing around like they were alive. But from a different perspective, this is a 2-in-1 type of thing right now. It looks like a fan blowing things away. It's weird because obviously flowers can't control the wind currents. That's the weather. The flower is actually dependent on its surroundings or environment. It's controlled by the weather. I'm literally getting the scenario of the difference between climate and regular weather. Weather is ever changing like the forecast, but a climate relatively stays the same. The Antarctic is notorious for cold climates. That's not necessarily going to stray too much away from that. It can be sunny, but usually that climate and all of the living things, animals around it that endure it are used to it. It's like the climate. It usually stays put. It's notorious for that. The animals and the crops, whatever lives among it, is definitely used to enduring it, like I said. I'm also seeing with my drawing, this indicates when it's time to pull the plug versus it simply being just a rainy day, just a little shift, or just a bad day. Is this situation you're enduring a dead end, or are you throwing in the towel too soon due to just a little bit of a change in weather, due to a little slip up, due to a little mistake that you can easily bounce back from? You guys are like a flower right now. It's like, are you in an environment you thrive in? Is it loud, noisy, toxic, draining from time to time? It's like that every day. Are you in fight or flight, trying to control certain conditions and directions, like the wind in my art, in which things go, like a flower has no business doing, because flowers can't do that. Flowers are controlled by their environment, so something affects you more than you might realize. And that's the scariest part, because it's like you're not controlling the weather, you just got used to the climate. You've become numb to it, kind of like when you're in like very cold climates, you start to like get frostbite and you can't feel your hands. And that's actually very dangerous, like being in a place so long that you don't even realize what's going on. It's like it's all subconsciously affecting you, but you don't know. It's like being in a room full of people that maybe don't like each other, or it's like you're around people that fight. It's like you could look at that and be like, I have control over this. the way I have control over this is like I never want to be like that. Or you tell yourself I'm not like that, which might be true, but that noise, that environment, it's like you're still soaking that up and picking up on it. The reason I have the sun card out right now is because it definitely correlates to my art with like the sunflowers here. The sun is giving the sunflowers energy, and that's even where the sunflowers got its name, sort of. They're similar, but they both have their own objectives. So I did a reading a while back about how impressionable young kids are. It's like they sort of copy their parents. They pick up on like little gestures. So they pick up on when mom or dad is sad or when mom or dad is happy. And right here it almost looks very neutral, like the sun has no emotion. So that's what it is. It's like picking up on one's environment or picking up on like subconscious things from maybe when you were like, it was long ago or when you were much younger. And that actually does affect you when you get older. It's like you are your environment in a way. And some people think they have control over it, but it's really they just became numb to the climate because they've been in it for so long and they have no business being around people like that or friends like that. Or coworkers like that. Maybe you have a really toxic job and you think, oh, I'm just here for the money. I can easily ignore these people, but you dread going there every day. That's still affecting you. It's very similar to how like you can see people fighting. Like I know like I don't know what it is, but I can really like I don't know if it's because I can sympathize with it or I'm very empathic. But even when I hear arguing and it has nothing to do with me, it could be strangers, it still leaves like a bad taste in my mouth because it's like the energy is there, no matter how you try to spin it. The sun will always affect the flower. It's like the flower needs the sun, but what happens when the sun or the emotions or like what's being shown is discombobulated? What happens when it's not there? I just realized something too. I said something about like flowers with faces, and obviously the sun here has a face, but suns don't actually have faces, do they? You could see that as like having control, having like human-like qualities, having like being in control of your own life and your own environment. But we don't view the sun as affecting us that much, even though we get vitamin D from it, even though it literally energizes and gives life to everything around it. So yes, indirectly, something is affecting you. You're picking up on something, even if it might be subconscious. Is it just a rainy day? Kind of like when they say don't give up on something just because you had a bad day. There's something here about needing to realize that. It's like knowing when to push through, but also knowing when it's time to get out of something. Because you could think you have control over it, but you're still being affected by toxic people or little things coming your way, like the wind, more than you realize. I'm going to get... I don't even feel like I need to use tarot. I'm just going to get a few oracles or advice for this art theme. Doesn't want to come out. There we go. They say everything looks better with odd numbers of things, but sometimes I put even numbers just to upset the critics. This is an example of something that's very displeasing to the eye. Like, I don't want to compare it to... I feel like OCD is an adjective people use for, like, very... Like, that's a serious thing. You shouldn't say OCD for everything, especially minor things. But this is like... It's like when you know... just by looking at something that something's in disarray. You can see with your very eyes, like that doesn't belong there. Oh, it's like you don't belong here. It's like you're the odd one out. You could say like, oh, I'm the odd one out. Like, I can choose to be better. But it's still time to go, because you quite literally don't belong there, and it's like you're being suffocated. And it's like you can what I said about the watching people argue, it's like you're not a part of it. No one's yelling at you, but the noise is annoying. It's like if you're trying to talk to someone, there's people on the side distracting you. It's still very much like displeasing. That's what this is as well. It's like it's not a part, you're not a part of it, but it can still give you anxiety. Like loud noise is still unpleasant. That's what I'm seeing here. Meaning to like upset the critics. Removing yourself might twiddle. I'm gonna click twiddle a few thumbs. Don't know what that means. Might upset people, but you're doing what's best for you. Not here about changing the environment or changing the direction, because it's time. Let's get crazy. What the heck? Take a 2-inch brush. This is your bravery test. Like, this is your bravery test. It's like now is your chance for some reason. It's like doing something crazy, doing something you should have done the entire time. This reminds me of people, like I think I saw on this one reality show where she kept trying to make things work, like she had it under control with such toxic, it could be family members or friends, but it's like they were draining the hell out of her and stressing her out, and she was still trying to like be on top of the world, like keeping her ducks in a row when she really just needs to pull the plug. And that's what I'm seeing with this. Okay guys, it's the end of this art channeled message. Please like, subscribe, support the channel in any way you can. I would really, really, really appreciate it. And yeah, a lot here about like faces, moods. I'm getting like also mood stabilizers or stabilizing. It's really interesting. Children thinking they're responsible for other people's moods. That starts at a young age. From like a clean canvas with a pure heart. Are you a sunflower, thinking you control the environment, even though the environment really affects you? It's like, look around. Beauty is everywhere, but it's not there. You might be able to deal with it, like numbness, settling, but there's much more that you could have or be around. Change. Sort of got interrupted there for a minute, so I didn't really think I ended it correctly, but yeah. Pretty much sums it up right there. That's interesting. It's like it should be beautiful, like that card. Okay guys, bye.